Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the 3-time world champion, the Zerg in the red, the finisher. It's Serral, facing off against arguably the best Protoss player in the world in the blue, the smiling assassin. It's Hero. In a best-of-7 Protoss versus Zerg showdown between Hero's barely controlled chaos and Serral's predictable yet inspiring consistency. It'd be awesome if before we get started, you could do the predictable yet inspiring thing of smashing that like button, maybe even subscribe. Help me count the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,709 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways because I don't know what else I do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better as these two titans clashing yet again. Serral able to get his Natchery up despite the actions of the pesky probe early on, though I feel Hero brings out kind of a unpredictable side of Serral. Then again, it's very hard for your opponent to know what you're doing if you don't know yourself. I'm not sure which flavor, which variety, which discipline of Hero we're going to get today, whether it's the mad genius who comes up with completely new strategies on the fly and outflies his opponent with them, or the best Diamond League player who also smashes the F2 key more often than regular control groups. Whichever one it is, the one thing we can guarantee is entertainment value. So we'll see how Serral handles it early on, but the Stargate is on the way. The unique, bespoke wall-off that Hero likes to build. Every single game is already been constructed. Yes, technically, if you build the pylon there with the first two buildings, you can wall off with just 2 large buildings. I'm sure this couldn't backfire in any way. It never has before. You can timestamp that. First, Adept throwing some shade. Gonna rub its ethereal nose on the hatchery as the Zerglings try to chase it down, but cancels it at the last second, like it's a StarCraft ghost game. And a Phoenix to start things off. And the Overlord... Well, already a bit of a suspicious start out of Hero. The Phoenix to deny the Overlord Scout as violently as possible and leave the rest of the game wide open, as Serral going to be unable to get any information about what Hero's up to. Of course, that also means there's not going to be an early Oracle. There's no way to really put pressure on the drone. Serral is going to eventually build the Spores. He already had one in the main. But the Phoenix does delay the potential Oracle timing by approximately 1 Phoenix build time. And behind it, there's just he just has a 3rd gate. Energy recharge on the Oracle. Serral spotted the gate, and I feel like it creates more questions than it answers. Why is there a 3rd gate? A Twilight and a Forge on the way as the tech tree starts to expand. 2 more gases. Oracle in the main, thinking about a stasis, and the Queen thinking about how they don't like that kind around here. And Evolution Chamber on the way. Serral kind of adding the drones on, but still leaving the opportunity to build around a Zerglings or even Roaches. The Oracle Revelation and cleans up the creep tumors all on its own. That extra 100 energy from energy recharge certainly helping with it. And behind it, yeah, Hero expanding the tech tree into a full-on shrubbery here. A Twilight Council, a Forge, and a Robo. All 3 branches of Protoss tech being explored. As, well, the Noah's Ark build of Protoss is certainly one of the ways you can... That was not a StarCraft's episode. Well, I mean, it was, but... The Shady Bunch headed across. No glaives on these Adepts. So the Queen's going to politely yet firmly ask them to leave. Still an existential threat to any unprotected drone line. But Hero keeping Serral busy. As now Serral working on his... Is that a Robo-Bay? What? You can't just build everything. A Robo-Bay is on the way for Hero as he supply blocks his chrono-boosted probes. A second robotics... Is he going to go like this? Well, Hero once again exploring completely uncharted territory in this matchup. Trying to draw out... Now, here's the thing. he baited a lot of roaches out of Serral, though Serral obviously not falling for it dramatically, just enough to shut down the early roaches. Wow. Extended thermal lance is on the way. I mean, mine was already there when we started, but the second robo is... he's going Colossi, which is certainly one of the units you can build in this matchup. Very good against Hydras and Lings. Unfortunately, not nearly as good against Lurkers, Roaches, Vipers, any Spire units. Honestly, not great against Banelings since they're not light units, but... So, Hero is just... he's getting Colossi. And a Warp Prism. Gonna do some Colossus drop micro, which I say sarcastically, and then I realize, oh no, maybe it was... No, we're just gonna cancel Extended Thermal Lance and get a Templar Archives. Meanwhile, Serral is just 80 drones, 4 bases, Hive Tech is on the way, +2 ranged attack and +1 Carapace upgrades. The Colossus towering over everything else on the ground, as well it should. And I feel like he's kind of just showing it off here. Like, look, a Colossus! Freak out! I made a Colossus! Of all the people to have a nervous breakdown about the existence of Protoss, I think Serral is the least likely. A fleet? You can't... What? Hero! Just make me one of everything. All right. I'm not sure if that's a philosophy or a build order here, as Hero looking to check off literally every part of the tech tree before we actually fight. 7 Zerglings and 1 Overlord have died in 8 minutes. Hero has a Templar Archives, he's got a Robo Bay, he's got an Immortal, having an anxious breakdown about the Zealot cosplaying as a door. He's got Storm on the way, +2. Of course, it seems like a matter of course that Serral has everything as well. He's got 183 supply. He's got multiple Vipers. Now consuming the Evo Chamber, which is not happy about it. Also can't do anything. Roach speed, Hydra speed, Hydra range. Notably no Lurker Den, nor Spire. So Hero will have the variety pack of Protoss units. All the good ones, all right? If these are, like, these would have, like, epic and legendary rarity here for Protoss units. I've been playing too much Path of Exile. But technically those aren't what they're called, but you know what I mean. Meanwhile, the storms will wash across the Roach Hydra and soften it all up. No, this isn't on the new balance patch, all right, that Blizzard randomly put out. That's on the PTR. You'll know. Believe me, you'll know. The Immortals get over here. Even the Phoenix gets yanked over, which I'm not entirely sure that's a great idea, but we'll be taken down by the Hydras, the Storms, but the Roaches just certainly not respecting it. The Immortals getting pulled out one by one, but the Roach Hydra just kind of chewing through it. 24 more Roaches in production. And that's... Huh. I don't actually know if that went as well as it looked for Serral, because he ate a lot of losses there. 24 Roaches, only 6 Hydras. He got 3 Immortals and an Archon. The Vipers. I don't know if I can show this. And an Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. So he's pulled out many of the Immortals, which are the hardest possible counter, at least directly to the Ultralisk. But honestly, I feel that's a little disrespectful of Serral. Going Ultralisk against Hero who has double Robo and already Tempest on the field? Where is the Spire? The Stasis catches a chunk of units, but Ultras are not a very direct answer to what Hero has. He's already got 4 bases pretty comfortably. So with the Tempest shelling from afar, even if he yanks an Immortal in, and no, get over here. Max range harpoons. But a Mothership is on the way. 2 Immortals at a time again. Hero is going for the power Protoss composition. And Serral is... It almost feels like Serral's having fun with it. Of course, fun for Serral is winning. So I guess he has a lot of fun, but... Roach Hydra And is he going to... No adrenal glands. No melee attack upgrades. He's getting chitinous plating. What is this? The cannons? Blinding Cloud could be very helpful against them. But the mothership could be helpful against everything else. Active cloaking could completely deny. There's no detection here. And, well, okay, wait a second. Hero's now getting close to maxed out. Serral now mining from the gold. But by the time he does so, Hero very well could attack it. He's got the army supply, and he has the power composition now. There's 5 Immortals, the Mothership, plenty of Templar. The Tempest still mostly uncontested, as Hydras are only a poor impression of an anti-air unit most of the time. Our Tempest easily taking them out from afar, especially with a couple Storms coating anything. Target's down to Templar. Bit embarrassing there for them, but Serral's freeing up supply. He's going mass ultra. I can't help but think that this is... Is this the 7 ultras? As an arguably great man, Hydra once said, when I'm really far ahead and I want to lose, I build ultras. And for 15 years, that has been mostly the case. But maybe Detective Serral knows something we don't. The charge lots just casually running by, refusing to elaborate further, mostly because they don't have mouths. Dragging the army out of position. Vipers and Ultras and Infestors, all very vulnerable to feedback. But here come the Ultras. Storm on everything. Feedbacks. Wombo combo, though. He gets the fungal. I don't know if what's happening under there. The Ultras are chewing through the ground army. The Hydras will take down the Mothership. The Tempests are mostly uncontested. And now we're left in the awkward situation where the Tempests will knock out the Hydras, but all they can do to the Ultras is give them a deep tissue massage. The Ultras might be able to power through on the ground, though eventually the Tempest will whittle them down. No Corruptors on the way, just more Hydras in production. What madness is this? Serral actually supply blocked as the Tempests are target firing the Overseers of all things. Serral will completely obliterate the Nexus in the front. And he's still, I think just now Hero might realize the gold base is mining. That's such an important part of this. Even though Hero still has the income. Serral only has 66 drones right now, which is honestly probably a good thing. Right up until he loses another half dozen to the Casual Oracle with 17 kills and counting. Wow, this Oracle, finally the Spore Crawler will keep him at bay, but 13 more drones being produced, but Serral trying to fit a square peg in a non-existent hole here, which just does not sound like a recipe for a good time. Mass Tempest, 10 Tempests with 2 more in production, a couple Immortals on the ground. That's enough Tempests to do critical damage even to Ultralists at this stage. The Corruptors are being added into the composition, the rocks being torn asunder. And the base itself, no tectonic destabilizers on those Tempests. For all the upgrades and all the tech that Hero got, that key upgrade to increase the damage of Tempests against buildings is something he neglected. He's got 2-1, 2-1 upgrades, +2 air attack, and about to have +2 shields, +2 weapons on the ground, and +1 armor. Serral has +3 ranged attack and +3 carapace, but no adrenal glands and only +1 melee. So the Ultras are literal expensive, in-your-face meat shields right now. And he finds himself in the situation that many Zergs have before. You're maxed out, you've got some money in the bank, but now you have to figure out exactly how much anti-air you need. Because if you build too many Corruptors, then you can't fight the ground army. If you build too few, then you lose total air control. Right now, Serral's sitting on 14 Corruptors against 12 Tempests. They have +1 flyer attack. He's got 5 Dropper Lords on the way, but here comes Serral's super army. The Infestors are on the side. No Neural Parasite, but Fungal. Trying to chain it together. I don't know if there are any Vipers on the backline. The Corruptors, the Storms on the Corruptors. Hero standing his ground, but the Ultras are just trampling over it. And It's a disaster for Hero. A fake Overlord drop, I think, headed towards the main. Or maybe he's just lining it up for another attack. 6 more Ultras on the way. Hero stood his ground, so Serral cut him down. What a mess and an absolute disaster piece of a fight. Hero not able to back up. He didn't have a mothership to help, and now he's got some Stalkers, which will die just as dramatically, though much more quickly. The Ultras trundling across 11 Ultralisks. Is he about to do some Ultralisk drop harass? What year is it? Serral making Ultras look like the most capable unit. Even against Mass Immortal Tempest, it's a unit composition that's all about outmaneuvering the Zerg. Making sure it's almost impossible to take a good fight. And Hero decided to use it like a battering ram. Serral, now with an Ultralisk drop into the main base. Of all things. And Hero has absolutely nothing to defend. A recall to the main. He brings back a smattering of units. He could potentially just drop on top of it, but the rest of the army, of course, in the most obvious yet almost unstoppable move. The Storms, not enough. Just wades right through them. The cannons cloven in twain. The Tempest, not even close to enough. The Spire being made great again back at home. But the mothership is being produced on this very dangerous nexus. The Ultras and Hydras are cutting down the Immortals. The units trickling out of the main. And while it looked like Hero had a few moments where he might be able to create that death ball, Serral has taken the rest of it. 8 more Ultras. I can't help but think this is just disrespectful. He's going to have 14 Ultralisks. If it was anyone else, I would say he's throwing. But when Serral does it, the charge lot's charging in. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? The gold base is mostly mined out at this point. Serral got what he wanted from it, decides not to fight because Neural Parasite is 10 seconds out. Borrowing some of those Immortals and turning them against one another might be exactly what he needs to close this out in the most dramatic possible fashion. 12 Ultralisks. He's got some dozens of Zerglings. He never got Adrenal Glands, but honestly, the Zerglings, not really the major factor here. The Infestors will burrow. Hero with a dangerous army. I'm sure Serral is looking at it the same way. Yes, I'll take it. Are there any observers? There are 4 of them, and most of them are with the army, but not much of this has enough range to really make the difference. And, oh my. Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! Oh no! Serral turns the Immortals and Archons against one another, turning the Protoss' power into his own. The Ultras still getting exploderated by this army, because of course they are, because that's still Mass Immortal Archon. But all the reinforcements cut off. Honestly, without the Neural Parasite, Hero would have just annihilated that army with almost no losses. And a few more coming through, the Zerglings coming back around. And it's all Serral here, as he'll hold them in place and cut them down. Again, still dangerously close for what it was, but there are 10 more Ultras in production. Just in case Hero had any illusions of this game going on much longer. Hero. It's okay. It's okay, Hero. Ah, yes, it's time for the Templar drop of Storms. Surprisingly effective. He could heal those. Yeah, okay. Serral just rolling over Hero in absolutely comprehensive fashion. 23 Ultralisk dead, the dozen more on the field at the end. 23 Immortals not living up to their name. And Serral off to a decisive start. That was not the best way to play that out. I stand by that. And I don't stand by much. I'm usually sitting almost all the time. It's probably not good for me. But I feel like he was proving something there. I don't know what, but I'd like to see more. And good thing we have plenty more, at least 3, as Serral in the bottom right. This to determine who will be the last player in the playoffs of the Maestros of the Game $20,000 championship put on by Comeback TV, the French organization. And if you happen to be watching the first few days, thank you. Like and subscribe. And if you're not, same thing applies. But more relevantly, the playoffs will be held in person in Paris, France, September 27th of 2025. And the top 4 players will be battling it out. I believe Clem and Raynor made it on the other side of things, which is the least surprising. But I'm sure it's still worth watching. So, if you have an opportunity to watch it live, either in person or on stream, make sure to do so. Otherwise, maybe on your favorite YouTube channels or even here afterwards. And if this is 2027, I have 10 million subscribers and you're wondering how we got here, well, just know that I probably should be paying Serral royalties. This time around, the probe making sure that he is unable to get his natchery. It's a double-edged sword. But for the last 27 years, I believe in Brood War as well, on maps where it's possible, Protoss have been sending that probe out to block the Zerg from expanding. It's not just denying the economy. It is a significant chunk of your early game economy to send out like one of your first 12 or 13 probes. But it's not just to slow down the expansion, but to create a space of vulnerability, to get to increase the distance and minimize the creep spread between the bases. So adepts and oracles can get in and do their dastardly business. That's how I'm going to phrase it for now, because it sounds fun. But mass ultras, really, Serral? And why not? Ah, yes, another one of these walls. Stargate's on the way. Hero got everything. Serral let him build the army. Immortals, Tempest, and Templar. The top 3 late game units in terms of power. But he had a rocket launcher sort of unit composition. And he used it like a battering ram. Okay. Getting up close and personal to the massive war beasts who just reach out and try to crush you in their jaws. Well, let's just go have a melee fight with them. Hero. The thing is, Hero gets away with it so much because so many players look at that army and are like, how am I ever going to fight that? 12 Tempests, a mothership, 10 Immortals? So I was like, just win. And it's all the spell. The thing about Serral is you don't think of him as a micro player. I mean, I'll speak for everyone here because no one can speak back, much like playing against Protoss. But they don't have mouths. But no one's thinking of Serral as like the top micro player. You think of Clem or Raynor. But that's because Serral is already streets ahead. He doesn't need to do the crazy micro when he's already set up the fight. The amount, if you watch his perspective, which I'll try to remember, if you watch his perspective, he's shift queuing up like fungals and parasitic bomb, and in fact, he will shift queue parasitic bomb and then shift queue consume on the Vipers back at his base before the fight starts. And I mean, you love it when a plan comes together, but it seems inevitable, as Serral has foreseen, as the prophecy foretold how the fight would go. Everybody else is reacting, but whereas Serral is not acting at all. Twilight Council on the way, 2 more gases at the natural. We're shifting gears into the production tab commentary, just in case. This game. No Forge from Hero. What are you up to? The gas is a little bit late, but I can't... No, don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Glaives. I'm saying don't do glaives. You know, it might be charge. Is that not a super pylon? Like, charge it. He starts blink. There's no reason to fake it. Like, the Twilight Council is one of the most ambiguous buildings in the game. There are 3 very oh, Serral's camera was messing him up. His webcam. They weren't sure if his camera was turned off or that's just how his face looks when he's playing. But it was on. It's just too calm and collected. You know, I'll balance it out. Jimmy! Sorry. Oracles come in, get a few more kills. Queen's unable to stop him for now. Templar Archives on the way. Hero notably not adding the Forge. And the +1 attack upgrade is not super critical for Blink Stalkers, but it becomes a lot more important for Archons and Charge Lots, and dealing especially, well, with anything, because those Charge Lots get a lot of value out of the attack upgrades. But of course, we're a long way off that. The Triumvirate of Oracles overhead. This time around, Hero not skimping on the early Oracles. Hydraless Den is now completed. Serral just with that Roach Hydra composition. It's not a particularly flashy one at all, but it's certainly effective. The sheer biomass you can bring to the table early is significant. And Hero, I feel like he's doing a mass blink build, but I'm not sure he's committed to it yet. There's a Forge. Throws a Templar Archives on. Chrono boosting charge. Hero's at exactly 66 probes. Perfect 3 base saturation. But, draw the fire and fury and fleet beacon on the way. Hero! Looks like he's taking both his macro and micro turns simultaneously. Gonna take down the rocks, which will, I guess, make it harder to outflank the Stalkers. Certainly one of the options. A single Zergling looking to trigger some of the stasis, which are hiding out in the trees behind. He's trying to trigger the stasis, but the Blink Stalkers scamper away with the speed zones. Surprisingly effective, and Hero able to keep Serral's drone count low-ish, able to force him to continue building army. And notably, Serral does not have an infestation pit. He does not have a lurker den, nor a spire. You know what? Let's just list what he does have. He has roaches, hydras, and zerglings. That's it. So that means that he's on a timer now. If Hero is actually able to make use of all this tech, get the Templar, get the Tempest, he should have a better army. On paper. But we don't play this game on paper, and honestly, I'm not convinced that Hero knows how to read. So, the storms, though, on the ramp. A Hydra's trying to slither through them, but taking critical damage before they're able to do so. More Stalkers warped in. A few more caught by Zerglings in the midst of everything. Blinks back in time. Serral with a 70 supply lead, working on Burrow Move Roaches. Of all the techs, again, I really feel like Serral is limit testing here. Even before we have any inklings of a patch, but the Roaches and Hydras trying to weather the storms, and so far with enough army supply. One last storm, the Oracles come up, but the Hydra is able to ping cushion them relatively easily. The Tempest, pretty much uncontested. And Serral is whittling down Hero's army, but eventually the Tempest will be enough to drive this back. He denied the 4th base. He has 4 bases of his own. A stasis. He's building 7 more drones. The infestation pit will indicate it's time to actually tech up to Hive. But Serral seems very committed to this lair tech composition. As I say it. Infestation pit's on the way. The Tempest, at some point, you need to deal with the Tempest. They don't do a lot of damage. Just straight up loses the Nexus. Another 400 minerals gone for Hero. Minerals that he can ill afford. Makes me sound fancy. The roaches, there is detection. There's a cannon there. But warping in, well, warping in does something if they unburrow in time. Meanwhile, the Tempests, suffering from dramatic amounts of overkill, actually have to split their damage. The roaches just ignoring some of the attacks. A couple Tempests taken down as Serral. The roaches in the main living up to their accurate names. The Tempests gonna be driven back, almost taken down. More storms to soften things up, but the roaches will depower some of the gates, take out another pylon. And Serral is just slapping Hero around like he owes him prize money right now. And honestly, at this stage, it looks like he will. 161 to 116 supply. There's a hive on the way. Hero can't seem to get past 3 bases, whereas Serral is working easily on 5. More roaches, more hydras, and not enough warp-ins to match them. The Stalker's not able to do the damage quickly enough. Serral at +2 upgrades against just +1. And the Hydra's severely benefiting from it, especially since there's not enough storm to thin them out. But Hero able to turn it around for now. Serral did invest some in going up towards the hive. So that means a bit of downtime on unit production. And what is it? Don't do it again. He's gonna do it again, isn't he? Oh, Serral. He knows what the people want. Ultraless Cavern is on the way. It might not be good, but it's great. The Ultraless Cavern as the choice. That tempo-based timing, where if you can get out ahead of your opponent in terms of economy, you can just lean on them with all the weight of dozens of Ultralists, or almost one of your mother. Meanwhile, 2 Vipers on the way, adrenal glands as well. Hero setting himself up to be pincered by these Zerg claws on either side of this attack. Serral with Hydras and Lings to the north, Hydras and Lings to the south, and Hero is stuck in the middle with a strong army, but I doubt it's strong enough. A near 360-degree surround closes in on the Tempest. The Immortals gonna be cut down, and there's just too much Zerg. Serral again with an overwhelming, decisive victory. And showcasing yet another relic. Oh, nope. Mothership does not want to be here. Doesn't have much of a choice. Hero's still gonna fight it out. I'm sure he knows that it's optimistic at best. If it was anyone else, the chances would be slim. But against Serral, closer to none. Vipers, Hydras. He's got the Overseers. He's pulling out. I think he pulled a Templar. The Mothership actually doing an appreciable amount of damage. Those 4 beam. He's pulling Stalkers. Okay. Like. Alright. Hero. We're waiting. Serral crushes Hero yet again in game 2. No ultras this time. The burrow move, roaches slipping through and undoing the defenses, which were already minimal at best. Hero unable to find any footing against Serral. I got nothing here. I got exactly how much Hero does. Nothing. Game 3, Sandworm. Yes, we have an original community map pool here for this series and in Maestros of the game, mixing it up just a little bit. This map, certainly, well, as we saw it in some of the community tournaments, definitely a lot harder for Zerg to get past 3 bases. Is a very key point. The rush distance is intimate, is how I'm going to phrase it. Is that the... That isn't a wall. Right? Serral checks. No probe on the way. So able to get his natchery. When these two have faced in the past, I mean, it's always been Serral's advantage. Well, in recent history, it's been Serral's advantage. But Hero seems to be flailing somewhat. I'd say more than usual, but he went for the blink. Kill the pro. Do it, Serral. Do it. Hero's baiting him so hard. Like, he's putting it inside the mineral pet. Serral does not bother. He's just gonna push the drones back onto the patch. As you can see, they're fighting over who gets to tease the mineral patch into convincing it that they're mining from it. The proxy war here. But it does feel like flailing, because Hero, he literally, in game one, he pretty much went for every tech. At some point, he was researching extended thermal lance, and he had Tempest, he had Templar. Didn't get any DTs, is all we're missing. But game two, he goes blink, and then everything else. I thought he might try, well, he did kind of try that blink timing, but half-hearted at best. And I think you need at least a couple hearts in order to survive Serral. Stargate. Of course. The Stargate, even Hero acknowledges as the required staple. Very simply, the Oracle allows you to defend against pretty much everything. Why is he hiding his adept? What are you doing? What sort of bait is this? This is not, obviously it's not a wall, but I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if there's a gap to the right side as well. Serral's not even trying to get an early third here. Is he trying an all-in? He's building multiple queens. And starting the creep spread kind of... What? Already? This seems pointed, and he's got a lair all the way. Shenanigans are afoot. Serral trying to make use of that intimate rush distance, I think, but if he starts Overlord speed, we know what this is. And if he doesn't, it's a Nidus. The Zerglings assassinate the probe, the Overlord taken down unceremoniously. Pardon my sniffles, I feel like I'm getting a little sick of Serral crushing everyone, and also in general. I should stop going outside. Well, what is this? Hero, what the hell is this? That's bait, right? Stasis? Actually could be a little... Okay, you got 2 drones, which is twice as many as I thought he'd get. So, wild success. Hydralisk Rush. Huh. Both players clearly acknowledging how close the rush distance is. It's very... No. They can just run in. I'm like 84% sure. Another stasis attempted. Hey, we don't like your kind around... Oh my... Brenda, what happened? I didn't think he just walked in. He did exactly the same thing again, Brenda. Susan, shut up! I'm just taking a break. We get breaks, right? What? Since when? Meanwhile, the Shady Bunch coming across. The Queen's kind of What? Well, 4 drones dead, which doesn't seem like a lot, but Serral is sitting at 37 drones right now. And he just lost a lot of economy to a stasis, surprisingly. So, a Hydra Ling all in. 4 cannons on the way. 3 cannons on the way. Wait, I'm sorry, 2 cannons. I guess he finished 1. So that's how that works. But mass Oracle defense from Hero. Gonna try to fight it yet again. 5 Oracles. There are not enough Hydras to deal with this. He lights it up, picks up a Hydra, chases down the rest. Easily gonna burninate across the countryside with the Zerglings melting under the pulsar beams. The Hydra's just being chased down. And Hero just wins. Serral with a haphazard 1/4-assed Hydra all in. And I really think Hero was lining up for some sort of timing. And then he realized Serral was jumping the gun on it. So Hero puts 1 on the board. Though Serral clearly not particularly interested in playing a long game there. Well, all right, just like that. The chances of a clean sweep off the table as we head to Pylon. Serral is 12 pooling. Wow. Okay. Serral decided that that was far too long of a game. Hero is not... What is this gas first? Is Hero going Nexus first? What? What sort of mind game? What spell did Serral just cast on Hero? What? He's not gonna scout? What? Why? Not even gonna send the... Serral... Oh, never ever play poker against Serral. Okay. Never. Do not. Oh, what are you doing? Oh my. He's got drones hotkeyed. No. A drone rush! The Zerg boys are pulled off. If it was anyone else besides Hero and Serral, I don't know. He just wins. He just wins the game. There's no defending this. He didn't scout. Hero decided that he was safe. That was the big cheese. Oh, how the turntables have turned. As DJ Serral has decided to completely cut out the... Serral commits to an all-out... Now, he saw the probe didn't scout. I don't know if he would have pulled the drones if there was an early scout. He literally could not... Like, that... I feel like that was a big cheese, but he wasn't going to drone rush. And then he saw no probe scout. He's like, well, we'll do it live. Serral in possibly the shortest professional game of StarCraft 2 in this tournament, maybe this year, just wins without killing a single unit or losing one. Match point. What? Why didn't he probe scout? This series is a mess. Okay. He had to have known. Serral, so it's been said, I believe it was Raynor, and I have a tendency to believe him. Serral hasn't said anything otherwise. But Raynor has mentioned that Serral seems to remember pretty much every game he's ever played. I don't know if it's photographic, but near perfect memory. which would explain a whole lot, right? All right, that is in whether trained or talent. I feel like in some part of Serral's brain, he either played or watched a game of Hero on that map and anticipated exactly that. And probably months ago had the answer in his mind, probably before the World Cup, which he didn't end up facing Hero. But that was... I can't tell if that was 4D backgammon or just tug of war there, but... I don't know how to follow that up. That's all I got. Like, and now that's... Of all the people in this... Of the 2 players in this series, who I thought would be cheesy fiends, okay, who would be doing the earliest possible all-in in order to try to take a pass-or-fail sort of victory, it was the one I least expected. But here we are. Hero scouting with his pro. Because Serral just taught him a very painful and very direct lesson. And that one was free. Once again, besides the prize money, probably. I 12 pool drum. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I'm upset. Like, one, we get denied a real game, but at the same time, obviously it's going to be some incredible clickbait. Write that down, Jimmy. Breaking the game. More like breaking Hero's mentality, which was already fractured at best. Adept hanging out. Tapping on the hatch. Where do you go from here? I mean, anywhere you want, because we've already passed the 2-minute mark. Oracle's on the way. Adept goes in, Adept goes out. Can't explain that. The Zerglings. See 2 Adepts, which is 1 too many. But with the queens in hand. What? Okay. Hero good about edging that shade. Waiting till that last possible moment and then canceling. Moracle's on the way. He built a 3rd one and then decided against it. Interesting. Twilight and Forge. Queens will politely yet firmly drive the oracles away. The Overlord on the Pervert Pillar clearly being stalked by the Stalker, as you might expect. What did he... What have you done? Hero! It's a fake! He canceled the gas after the Overlord was out of vision range. He's not mining from the other. He's swerving headlong into mass charge lot with +1. And Serral got all the information he needed to not think this was the case. He's building 8 more drones. He's going to go over 60 drones. Which is not a death sentence in and of itself. But Hero, I think, has managed to pull... He's warping his Zealots to the main. He's going to have 8 gates, the Ocho. And he sees it warps in Stalkers. Serral, building more drones. His boozles have been bammed right now. Oh, and the Oracle denying the 4th base. The other Oracle, wow. Hero. Okay, well, the idea was good. The execution could have used some work. In that it didn't exist at all. A stasis! As the drones scramble away, one with the mandated work break. Hello, this is restricted lair space by order of the hatchery. Oh, are you listening to me? Brenda, you okay? No! Serral's at 66 drones. He's setting up for the Hydraling timing. But an entire legion of charge lots is gathering dramatically in the main. Serral just built 10 more drones. Oh no. Serral got his build order win. Hero? I mean, it isn't just a win immediately. But Serral does not... He has 38 army supply, including the 4 Hydras in production. +1 Zealots with any amount of Oracles overhead. Hero, 21 Zealots. No Warp Prism. He's just been warping them in for several minutes at his main base. Completely pulling the wool over Serral's eyes. A single queen sacrificed. The Roaches and Hydras. A few Zealots split off to eviscerate the drones. Some assassinating the queens. The Oracles overhead. The drones, where are they going? Transferring right through the fight. Not getting any extra hazard pay. The Oracles are knocked down. The Roaches and Hydras. The Queens are drawing the charge lots off. The Roaches very helpful here. Another wave of charge lots is coming across, but he has to run it across the map. Doesn't take too long, though. He's already lost a lot of hold position Zealots on top of the drones. Another wave comes in, and Serral taps it out. GG! GG, apostrophe, and then GG, and suddenly, Hero strikes back. The well-executed... I feel like Serral was like, I got my cheese, all right? We'll get back to basics. We're going to do our normal build now. And Hero's like, Well played. Hero with far too much experience to get rattled like that. I was attributing far too much to him. I would have been so tilted. But that's why I'm here commentating. Like and subscribe, as opposed to playing. That's the only reason. The only reason why. But Serral gets run down by the charge lots, and they slice right through to bring Hero a little bit closer to turning this around. The series has taken a dive sideways here, as after a few straight-up macro games, the cheese wheel has come out. Random Hydra all in, drone rush, charge lot timing. Here on Ultra Love, what will it land on? We will see. Remember, the Maestros of the game, Final Four, September 27th, 2025. And if you're watching after it, well, make sure to check out what is sure to be some incredible games. Serral still looking like the favorite, but Hero has a way of... He's a wild card. There's a reason he's the GSL champion several times over. There's a reason he's called the Smiling Assassin as well. Honestly, he works best against the top-level players. He's not really a ladder... I'm sure he does fine in the ladder, of course, but... Serral is so smart and so good at the game that Hero doing the most basic sort of build just completely flabbergasted him. He was flummoxed. He was misled. He was bamboozled and led astray. All it took was showing that Overlord the gases at the natural and warping in a couple stalkers to convince Serral he was dealing with Blink in the Storm. And Hero held on to his charge lots for so long. Sure, he might have been able to get a lot more damage if he had gone earlier, relatively. But would it have been enough for a killing blow, is the question. I think it worked out just fine. Twilight Council on the way. On it. Wait. No, hero. I mean, I zoned out. I'm like, all right, so he got the Stargate. So used. Hero really trying to pull Serral's strings right now. He's flirting with the idea of a very quick third. Like, who keeps a probe out here? The Stalker might be... The fact that he built the Stalker at all is certainly odd. The Zergling's trying to run by, but a second Stalker has hit the field. Is it going to be DTs or Glaives? I mean, it's so cliche to go Glaives. Does that make it bad? Not necessarily. It's DTs. A shrine to Dark. Hero's greatest frenemy. In fact, just an aside, in one of the largest 2v2 tournaments in history, believe the, I don't remember exactly what tournament, but about 2 years ago, Hero and Dark as teammates defeated Serral and Oliveira in the grand finals. Just, that's out there somewhere. But a Dark Shrine. Serral built a bunch of Zerglings, I think actually convinced that Hero was going for that quick third. Now starting to get a little suspicious. That Roach Warren is earlier than usual and in a very safe spot. But the Stalkers kind of just die, which is certainly not ideal. The Adept gonna shade back. The Warp Prism gets out. Serral is... He knows it's DTs. He knows it's DTs. They're warping in. But the Spine Crawler will burrow in time. But the DTs are going for the third. Going for the Queen. But every second counts here. The Spore Crawler is moving up. That's not going to be enough detection. He's trying to get to the base itself. He could kill the Spore. Or he could just dive into the main. He's not... Hero, don't forget! The DT drop. Oh my. And, well, the Spore Crawler being physically protected, but... Hero... He ends up killing some Zerglings and a couple drones. Going DT Blink! Quadrupling down on the madness. So Serral does not have a lair, which means he doesn't have any mobile detection, which means the DTs should be able to protect his base, but the question is whether he could do it before the Zerglings actually cancel it, and I think not. Forces the cancel. He's eviscerating the Lings, but he can only do it one at a time. And the Queens! Can't go too far. Hero... The DT Blink is madness. But... the only way out seems to be through at this stage for Hero. Don't flail. Do not go every direction. You're not getting anywhere at all. Whereas with DT Blink, you'll certainly get somewhere. Either a quick trip to the unit's lost tab, or to Game 7. The second Blink, don't... He's gonna see how many. I don't think Serral's prepared. He blinks on the Spore! And will eviscerate the Queens! What a play! Gonna go for the hatch. He's gonna warp in some Adepts in the main. The Queens might be able to take... No, he just goes... He gets the hatchery. What a play out of Hero! Commits everything! With everything on the line! The third base is dead. He has an observer! Serral! Blink! He blinks away and the observer isn't fast enough to chase it down. Or the overseer. You know what I meant. Hero manages to slice apart the hatchery. And then maybe lose his Warp Prism because it is Hero after all, but the Mass Dark Templar. What happened to these rocks? 14 HP.
I am intrigued.
I am intrigued as well. More DTs warped in. The Queens. That Warp Prism, the threat. He doesn't know if there's any DTs in it. That's why Serral is scurrying with the roaches. He can't know. There's a Robo Bay on the way. There's no detection here. He's going to get a few more drone kills. Hero has 60 probes behind this. This is madness. The mass Archons warped in from the Dark Templar, which simply don't have the staying power once there's a critical mass of roaches. Archons known for more overwhelming power, on the other hand. +1 is done, and Serral is not on safe footing here. But Hero is in a precarious spot as well. Both players with a lot of potential. Colossus in production. I really thought it'd be disrupted. One Colossus to help thin out the Zerglings. He's not getting extended. +2 attack and charge on the way. I'm still looking at this. Serral, come on, don't walk right into it. Well, at least it doesn't drop on him, but slams the door of the rocks, I guess, shut in his face. Hero with a very dangerous army, though. Like, it's enough Immortals and Archons to be an existential threat. It's not like Serral has a massive economy. He's up to 77 drones, but he doesn't have a hive. Does he even have a Hydra then? No, it's just roaches and Ravagers against a well-equipped Protoss army to deal with it. And even some DT still mixed in. The Archon's in an awkward spot, but slurps him up with the Warp Prism. Serral's maxed out. Despite everything, he's still maxed out on roaches with 2-1 on the way. Corrosive Bile splits the difference on the shield, but it blunks forward. The Archon's dropping behind the lines, saves it somehow, and Hero is chasing back a maxed out army. But partially because Serral was drawing him away. The roaches swinging in towards the 4th base. And Hero, well, the roaches and Ravagers again. Whips out the Corrosive Bow, blinks back behind the lines. Trying to chase down the roaches, but they'll burrow. They don't have tunneling claws. Still moving forward. Serral making some progress, but not doing critical damage yet. Scatters the Corrosive Bow. 7 probes dead. The burrowed roaches. Still a thorn in the side. 19 more roaches on the way. Tunneling claws now in production. I think he killed his own roach there. More probes dead. The roaches scampering away. And Serral starting to turn it around. Though Hero still with a very strong army. He's about to have +2 ground weapons. Warp Prism speed on the way, as he seems to want to juggle his way across the map. The Stalkers blink forward into more than he can chew here. Well, which is, you know, any as a Protoss, a no mouth, but the Stalkers, the Colossi, and the army starting to crumble on either side. Hero once again under 150 supply, even though he's trying to warp in. 137, continuing to dwindle, as he's not able to put together enough units on either side of the map. The Colossus is juggling back, but more like a sauna for those roaches than enough to burn them out. Serral with a hive on the way. He's up to 74 drones. Seems like he's stabilized while Hero is struggling. The Stalker's blinking back. An Immortal joins the field. Corrosive Biles and blink. A little bit late on the draw. Tunneling Claws is done. The rest of the army is collapsing, just like Hero's supply. He's trying to bring it back to deal with this. He underestimated the commitment. And Serral up to 170. 10 probes dead. The Colossi caught in the midst of the field. Multiple Colossi blocks forward. Chases Hero. Well, Hero chases Serral down. The Colossi starting to do quite a number on the roach count. And Hero might lose the economy, but using the Stalkers to try to block everything in. And there might be one shot, possibly one opportunity. Will Hero capture it? Or will this one slip away as well? Army supplies are about as close to even as they're ever going to get. The upgrades, 2-1 for Serral, +2 for Hero. But he's got the Colossi, he's got the Immortals. There aren't that many Ravagers, just 4. Will force things back, but some drones being incinerated. The Queens obliterated. And so far, the hatchery has yet to be annihilated. But now the Roaches and Ravagers. Hero pushing back. A few Roaches on the other side. The hatchery may go down, but the corrosive biles land. Hatchery taken out. Hero going forward through the biles. A bold move. The Immortals caught in front. The War Prism still intact. Ravagers targeted down. Workers being slaughtered on either side. It's all on the line. Juggles back into the Prism. Hero with almost nothing left. The corrosive bile. The Prism somehow survives. Hero down to 80 supply. Everything chased. Hero with 40 probes left over, but he still has his bases. Those few Roaches. So many kills. 7 kills. +2 Carapace, but Hero still pressing forward with Immortals and Stalkers and still 1 Colossus standing tall. Serral backs off. The force field's not able to keep him at bay. A couple spine crawlers, the backbone of the defense. But Hero has carved his way through into a plausible scenario with enough sentries in order to dictate the battlefield and force the corrosive biles to be used against him. Trying to hold, but the sentries are out of energy. The Roaches are moving forward yet again, juggling his way through. Is he a clown, or does he have talent? The results will decide. The Stalkers blink forward, the Immortal bashing through. Colossus trying to help, blinks through with more. Serral down to 100 supply, but Hero dwindling as well. The corrosive biles again. More coming up. The Colossus on the back line. Those 2 Roaches are still going. 13 kills, 8 kills. 2 Roaches have eviscerated Hero's economy. And without them, I don't know if Serral would have enough to rebuild. But with them, I think they may have won the game and the series. Hero put on so much pressure, but his focus was so tunneled that the tunneling claws were enough to undercut him. The Roaches will eventually be stamped out, but he did not call for an exterminator nearly quickly enough. Hero's building 4 probes at a time, but Serral has survived. The DTs! A single Dark Templar, but he gets distracted from the drones. Queues it up, but gives Serral that split second. Oh yeah, he has DT Bling! The Roaches body blocking. More 3 Stalkers. A few more drones killed. The DT actually finding some more kills. Serral had 44 drones. He has doubled the supply, but Hero fighting for everything he's worth. Where was this Hero in game 1 and 2? He finally, with match point on the line, he finally finds that sort of killer instinct. But Serral stretched to the limit. He bends, but he does not bow, and he does not break. The Roaches and Ravagers will hunt down the final Stalkers, knock out the Nexus. Hero going for a half-hearted base trade, but the heart of the swarm will be more than enough. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for Hero. Serral takes it 4-2. And by the end, what a series. Serral, it seemed like he was toying with him for a couple games. And then we broke out the cheese. And we ended with an exclamation point. Serral, not a surprising outcome, but the details matter. And I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I hope it made your day a little bit better. Thank you. If you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons, Big Jiggy Devendor, Kate, Mario, and Suit, and everyone. Glad you still enjoy. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun, and stay chill. Make sure to enjoy the Maestros of the game Final Four on September 27th of 2025. Make sure to check out this sick video they put together to promote it. I'll see you next time.